What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 21st day of August. Here we are at about 12.4 cents. I did end up making another purchase on OnyxCoin. I posted that in my last video in the title. I said it at the very end of the video, and I went through with that purchase. I bought at about 12.8 cents. So here we are at 12.4 cents, dropping down a little bit, giving it the C-Zar special, as we like to call it. And most of the time, in case you guys aren't aware of what the C-Zar special is, it's where I buy a crypto, you wait about a day, and you get a much better price than I do. That's normally how it works, right? Probably to the same effect on the sell side as well. But anyways, that's, if you want to trade, I have people who say they trade against my calls, and if you trade against my calls, you probably get wrecked more often than you actually make money. I'm not saying I'm perfect. There's definitely times where that'll work out in your favor, but if you trade with my calls, it's best to delay them, right? I feel like I'm normally early to the party, not late to the party. Anyways, from a high to a low here, overall, we have bounced off our 236, or at least in this area. We could go a little bit lower. There is that possibility that this is not the low and that we do see a slightly lower low, but tomato, man, at this point. I'm not worried about it. Even if that's not the low and we do go a little bit lower, I would think 1.17 cents holds as support. I really doubt that we see anything lower than that. And it's very possible that is low and that we find support here. I mean, we had a very proper reaction off of that area. If we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame here, Bitcoin, again, as we said, back here at these prices, even at these prices here, Bitcoin has found lower lows and OnyxCoin has found higher lows, right? Just because, and people always scratch their head or they look at me funny whenever I say that. But the thing is with altcoins, Bitcoin can find a lower low while altcoins don't find lower lows, because typically what happens is altcoins sell off way harder than Bitcoin does, but when they recover, they also recover harder. So if Bitcoin's around its low and it's finding a decent bounce there, altcoins will bounce harder. Therefore, when Bitcoin drops and it does see a lower price, it's not dropping that far, so it can see a lower price. Altcoins might even drop harder than Bitcoin did, right? Like if we're looking at Bitcoin here, we're on the 1 hour time frame, from the low or from the high. No, sorry, I'm way back. I'm way back here. From the high that we saw yesterday, or today even, sorry, it was today, to where we are now, we've dropped 2.3% or something like that. OnyxCoin in that same amount of time has dropped 5%, right? It's dropped more, but we have a higher low. That's because we pumped up so much. So all that to say, yes, altcoins do not need to find a lower low just because Bitcoin's finding a lower low. That's not always the case. And in fact, most of the time, if Bitcoin's going lower, altcoins go lower. But whenever we're at the bottom areas, which I'm very confident we are, this is the type of behavior that we normally see, which is also something to kind of maybe put in your back pocket of technical analysis capabilities, which is when you start to see altcoins finding higher lows, even as Bitcoin gets lower lows. I mean, anytime we've seen that throughout the cycle, we've been at or very near the bottoming zone. So just remember that, that's typically a sign of finding a low. Maybe it's a sign of finding a high too, if Bitcoin's moving up higher, but altcoins aren't. I don't think that's the case though. I don't think that'd be the case, because typically Bitcoin, after Bitcoin's done moving up, that's whenever altcoins run. So anyways, enough of the semantics. 1 hour time frame here. RSI looks like trash, honestly. It looks really bad. We took this good thing that we had going for us, bouncing and not finding oversold areas, getting into the overbought zone, trying, and we rejected. We failed. We're back into this same scheme that we were before this little divot here. So what we need to do, again, is change the game plan. On the bright side, we're not seeing deep readings like we were before. A little double bottom here with a proper reaction, but we're at the 40. We don't want to reject here. You want to keep going. So the goal at this point in time would be to get overbought. I don't care how long it takes. Let's get overbought without getting oversold first, okay? And then from there, try not to get oversold again. Let's try to get multiple iterations into the overbought area. Try to live above the 50 and do it for more than just a 7 hour period, however long that was back there. Maybe like a day period right there, okay? We did get a slightly higher low right there, which is nice to see. I mean, overall, I think that we are accumulating here. I think that there is some buying going on, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. The RSI, I don't hate it, but I don't love it right now. Let's try and turn that around over the coming days. Okay, stochastics coming out of the oversold zone like this. I like to see that. This promotes growth probably over the coming hours. So we got 4.5 hours left in the day. Probably by the end of the day, we should be moving up a little bit. The MACD does have bullish divergence as well, so that's also nice to see. But you're disregarding this zero entirely, and that's probably because you're moving sideways. So the 1 hour MACD, who cares? You got a nice thing going for you, but at the same time, who cares? It's the 1 hour time frame. And the 4 hour is a little bit more reliable. But when you're choppy like this, the MACD is pretty useless at the same time. What I will say is overall, this kind of trend in the oscillator. It looks like you have like an ascending triangle. I think this is like a spring being wound up, or what would be a spring, I guess, doesn't get wound up, it gets compressed. What would get wound up? I don't know. A string. we're condensing this indicator here. We're compressing it, and it's like a spring being compressed, and whenever we release that pressure, we will spring to the upside. That's all I was trying to say, poorly say. The stochastics here look like trash as well. But on the bright side, we're at the area that we typically do find support. So good things going for us there. The 4-hour RSI is turning a bit of a tide though, right? It's not good. It's not good overall, but it is turning a little bit of a tide. We took this downtrend, lower highs, lower lows. We turned it into a sideways trend. And typically after that, we turn our sideways trends into upward sloping trends. So maybe perhaps we're doing that now. We do have these higher lows coming in here and some relative higher highs even. So it's very possible that we do move up. What we want to see is same kind of thing that we want to see on the 1 hour time frame, right? Don't get oversold. We want to get overbought and avoid the oversold zone. Higher lows are welcome, and just multiple iterations in that overbought zone, okay, without getting oversold. That's what we want to see. Stuff like this, right? Not stuff like this, yes, where we're not getting oversold, where we're not getting overbought. You know, you want to get this kind of stuff. Anyways, I think that we're set up to do that. Bouncing off the 40 is definitely a nice look. And with the 1 hour stochastics looking the way they are, I would think that we also want to continue moving up higher. So this should be a good area to find support. What if we took a fib here? I don't know how reliable this fib will be from a high to a low, or a low to a high, because it's just so wicked on that volatility there. I don't know how reliable that is, but we are at the 886. And you respected the golden ratio in all fairness. As long as you hold the 886, I think we're absolved of going lower. But if we close below 1.222 cents on a 4 hour time frame, we probably do go lower. Okay, so just be aware of that. If we close a 4 hour time frame, not if we go below, but if we close below it would be 0.012218 technically. I just want to say 1222 on a 4 hour time frame, then I would think we're engaged with that 1.12 to 1 cent area. Okay, yeah, that could be where we go, and maybe we do go there. Maybe that's the inevitable outcome. Time will tell. Oh my God, is Bitcoin seeing lower lows? We got lower lows even. Wow, here we are. Crazy. Right now at 112K. What are the longs looking like? Decimated, I'm assuming. Shorts are piling on, but the longs, man, they're taking it, aren't they? They're taking it with their pants around the ankles. We might drop to 111K, you guys. It is possible. I mean, we're in it now. We're in this zone here. Why don't we clear it out? Go to 111K, maybe even a little bit through there to 110K. We really could. We really, really could. This could just be a fake out. I mean, the 1 hour RSI doesn't look the best right now, if we're being fair. You got the higher lows, you got the bullish divergence, but I don't know, that rejection off the oversold zone looks bad. And then we're building bear. We didn't have that a second ago when I made my most recent Bitcoin video. I literally just made a video saying that I think that that's the new low, but it looks like we're going to have to make another one tomorrow. But again, guys, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, right? With the Bitcoin low that I originally called for, it was over here. Even if we drop down to 110K, that's like a 2.5% difference. That's not that big of a deal, right? On an asset like this, it's really not that big of a deal. But that can cause a little bit of mayhem in the meantime. By the way, if Bitcoin does go lower, if it does go to 110K, don't worry about it. Okay, we're very near the low. Okay, absolutely very near the low. Anyways, back to work here. Looking at this on daily time frame, where we are in the RSI for OnyxCoin on the daily time frame is exactly where we are the last 2 times that we found support that we've moved up. We're actually even in the same areas that we found support back here as well. So I like this. We're doing the same kind of stuff that we've done before. I really would expect that we see some explosive price action take place soon, and that's why I made a play on OnyxCoin. The money that I put into OnyxCoin recently, I don't plan on keeping in there for the rest of this cycle. I do plan on taking profits, probably before this move is even like really taking shape. But just this initial like explosion up, you know, maybe in the next week or two I'll take profits, unless in the next week or two we're lower, but we'll see. But I am leaving the rest of my stack, just the most recent stuff that I put in. It's like a short-term position, right? Stochastics don't look great, to be completely fair. This is like phenomenal if you're looking for bearish stuff on the daily time frame. And we haven't really seen a phenomenal move down. That could be good or bad, I suppose. Bullish divergence taking place, because maybe it's good because we're super bearish on the stochastics, but we're not getting a super bearish kind of drop. Or maybe it's just that we haven't gotten a super bearish drop yet. right? Maybe that's what it is. But we do have bullish momentum on the MACD building, so that's kind of nice to see. Same thing with the RSI. So I think they're at a point to turn around. Again, if we go a little bit lower, it's not a big deal. Anticipating targets that are all the way back up to 2 cents and beyond. We're going all the way up to 26 to 32 cents by the end of, if not September, then sometime in October. It's going to happen faster than you might think it will. You know, anybody who's been around OnyxCoin for a while, you know what to expect. But if this is your first time kind of experiencing, if you started investing in it back here, you might not believe in it. But man, whenever it moves up, it's going to make you be like, why didn't I buy more? Why didn't I invest more? Why do I even live in a house? I should have just sold everything I have and bought OnyxCoin. Because whenever this thing moves up, man, it's going to be relentless to the upside. And it's very possible that even by the end of September, we're all the way up at 26 to 32 cents. And I know that's a bold call being at 1.24 cents, but we've seen these kind of bold price actions take place before. I'm assuming it's coming again. I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bitcoin's having a little bit of a bounce in this area. It's teasing the bulls, teasing the bears. Did some of these longs cool off? Nope. They're still there, man. I don't know. I think we're chipping away at it. Anyways, take care. Bye-bye.